now let's get back to the topic at hand.
Okay, cool. You said
okay,
no,
because
noseless sex. Okay, go ahead though. What?
Okay, now on the whole Breakfast Club thing, I feel like Royce has to say Joe's gonna rap, even though he knows Joe is never gonna rap. But if he says that, then people will be like, well, why are you upset?
Right.
Because you didn't want to do it unless Joe rapped, and you know Joe ain't rapping. So
Right.
Crook and Joell went off on their own. What are you so upset about? So I feel like he knows Joe ain't gonna rap. Today he posted a picture with him and Joe and Keno with eyeballs. That's it, just an emoji of eyeballs. I'm like,
yo,
bro,
how did Keno get back into the mix?
See, now here's the thing. Keno and him, I'm like, you know he ain't rapping. But if you say that, then you know you're wrong in your actions.
Right. You're absolutely right about that. But here's the thing, though. The thing about it is, Royce is an all-around cool dude. He's just very wrong on this topic. And he keeps doubling down on his wrongness.
But do
and
you
it's
feel,
looking crazy because
but do you feel he's being wrong intentionally? Because if he says he's wrong, then it makes him look bad.
Well, he's saying shit with confidence that I don't know where he got it from.
Like
you know what I'm saying?
Joe diss tracks and
he's saying I got Joe diss records in the stash, and I don't. He's like, yo, Crook got diss records for Joe, you know, and y'all just ain't heard him.
That was news to me, bro.
It's like, yo, I don't got no diss records, and he said it with such confidence.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's kind of you didn't want to rap.
That's kind of dangerous right there. You know what I mean? When somebody can say things like that, just really, really confident, like, yo, and there was a time when he didn't want to rap. Okay, well, let's talk about it. But here's the thing about me and my intentions. I move intentionally. So if there was ever a time that I didn't want to rap, I guarantee you it was for a good reason. And the reason probably shouldn't even be in the public. But if you open the door and you say, you know, he didn't want to rap one time, then that opens the door for me to say, well, this is why. And now y'all look even crazier.
Exactly. Now, I'm sure there was a time, and for a good reason, that all four of you didn't want to rap at one point for a specific reason, but not just because you just didn't want to rap. To make it look like that is crazy to me.
Especially since I've been rapping since
you were 6.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't stopped rap. When did I stop rapping?
You've been rapping. Yet? You were out before Joe was. Did they forget that?
I mean, I'm trying to say, and
come on now.
The pandemic certainly didn't stop me from rapping. I mean,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
In fact, if we look at it today, in the last 3 years, who has put out more music? You.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this, even with some artists that I'd be like, "Oh, Crook, what you doing?" But I still listen because I support you. You still putting out music. You still putting out verses. You still, and Allegory was what? How long ago?
Speaking of the Allegory,
which was a dope album.
But guess what? My business partner that they said they don't like to deal with
was the one. Yeah, they hit him up, didn't they?
They worked with him on the Allegory. They reached out to him.
See, now that's some shady
but
shit.
Saying,
why are you lying though?
So I think that's what bothered me the most. Listening to that was when I heard him say that him and Joe was working on the deal, but y'all didn't know nothing about it. Especially since that's their complaint about you and Joell. That was the part that got me because I love. Don't get me wrong, Crooked. I love Royce.
She loves Royce the way I love
when I heard him say that bothered me a lot. Because I was like, this feels like the Lupe and Mickey Factz thing where you were sunning them. I watched you sun them and then pretend like you did nothing wrong.
Exactly.
And that's what I feel like they're doing to you and Joell.
Well, that's what they're attempting to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're attempting to do. And I'm glad that you caught that because, you know, we're working on an album. Y'all just didn't know about it. Working on a deal. First of all, you haven't answered a text message from your own group member, Joell, in 3 or 4 months before Rise and Fall.
Right.
If somebody is texting you time and time again and you're not even reaching back, there is no rap group in my book. Because that's not how we get down.
I feel like it should be constant communication, at least maybe 2 weeks at the most. Courtesy. Hey, I'm busy. I'll hit you up when this is over with. Something.
No, but you decided, you know what I mean, to hit him back when Lupe jumped out the closet. So my whole thing is, leave it alone, my brother. You're not right on this issue. Quit doubling down. I know he's going to go around on a press run for his new project. So I'm expecting there could be more, you know, coming out. But I know he's going to probably do Joe podcast. I know he's doing Math Hoffa.
He's definitely, he did Paul's today, and I don't even know what he said. But Paul's
I know Paul. You know Paul ain't going to get messy like that.
Well, no, but it doesn't mean Royce might not say a little something and maybe Paul direct them away from it. It don't mean that he won't try. But what got me is this. Keno said the deal was bad. You and I talked here, and we had that conversation all about it. You told me about you and Joell doing this album. I didn't tell nobody about it. You told me about the deal. I didn't tell nobody about it. I know it was a big, big deal. Mm-hmm. Then Keno says, but in the live, Royce says they never saw the deal.
Yeah.
But Keno says it was a bad deal. So what is it? Did you see the deal? Was it a bad deal? You weren't even there, Keno. So what are you talking about? So now I'm like, dude, there's like 3-4 lies that I just caught you in right here.
Yeah, at first there was no deal. First there was no deal.
Exactly.
Then there was a bad deal. And now the manager who was not working with Royce at the time knows all about the deal.
Exactly. You know so what is it? And people don't realize. They're like, I'm like, do you guys not even hear this shit? You guys forget what was said months ago? Like, you guys got to peep game because you guys are getting twisted around and don't even realize because this narrative that's being pushed is bullshit. Yeah, and I feel like I got to tell people about it. Like,
and I appreciate it. And my whole thing is, I didn't want to divide Slaughterhouse fans and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, that's just craziness. Like, at the same time, as an artist, I got to express myself. I do that in the booth.
What's wrong with that?
You know what I'm saying? And this are the things that I wanted to create. You know what I mean? But, you know, I feel kind of bad for Royce because
I did too.
One, Joe, he's not going to rap. 2, even if he raps one time, that's going to be it. Just to say, hey, guys, I dropped a verse.
And wait, is it going to be worth all that, though, when he does drop the one verse? I don't know. I think he needs practice. I think his pen is dusty.
Even some years ago when we were talking about trying to revamp Glass House, they were already giving Joe outs. They were like, yo, Joe, you only got to come in. If we do 7 new songs for Glass House, you only got to rap on 3, man. So you don't got to come in and rap on 4, all 7 of them. They were already giving him outs. This is years ago.
Since back then. Yeah. And the group been done anyways, because, I mean, it's been 10 years since you guys dropped anything. And you and Royce couldn't even get them in the studio. Joe in the studio, and Joell wouldn't go if Joe didn't go. So what's the problem now?
Well, the problem is 2 guys who...
I think it's ego.
2 guys who, you know, me and Joell, who, you know, the Slaughterhouse team, which includes managers.
Right. You know, everyone has their own manager.
Yeah, 2 guys were kind of cut from a different cloth. We both grew up very poor. We both grew up super in the streets.
And I gotta say this.
And you could tell when our chemistry is matched up. That's what it is. We have similar stories. I could talk about WIC checks and I could talk about food stamps and lights getting cut off and all that. and see, he could talk about it too.
I could talk about using electrical cords from the neighbor to power my refrigerator.
You feel me? So
water.
that's what you're looking at, and you're looking at.
And we're raised
looking at a team. In the West. You're looking at a team who felt like me and him, we were the B team. Joe and Royce were the A team.
So
I thought I was the only one who seen that, because I Crook, don't get me wrong, I am a Royce fan.
Absolutely.
But when I was sitting and watching how he moved with Lupe, and I was sitting and watching how he moved with Mickey Factz, I seen how he was moving with you and Joell, and it bothered me because I saw that they thought they were above you, and they can say what they want to say, but it was visibly obvious that this is what was going on, that they thought they were above you, and y'all were just supposed to follow what they said do. And that bothered me a lot.
I was going to ask that, Watson.
Because I didn't see, I didn't think that Royce had that dynamic, but I even watching the podcast, I saw the sunning.
Yeah.
And quite often in the lives, I saw the sunning.
Well, it was done on Joe's podcast too with Maul and Rory. Joe was sunning them, so and he's having nice in them too.
It bothered me a lot. So what I really want to know from you is because how much it bothered me. How did it affect you as a friend to feel that way about somebody who you actually cared about? Because I never thought for a moment that Royce was somebody who you didn't actually care about. But I felt the disrespect.
Yeah, I felt the same disrespect, especially if you're going to go on a platform like the Breakfast Club and insinuate that I'm hurting for so much money that you can hey man, he could have came to me if he was hurting. I've never in my life asked to borrow one penny from anybody in my group. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, you ain't lying. I had a hard time borrowing 10, and she offered to lend me 10 the other day, $10. And I'm like, I've never had to borrow money. I've always
I actually just sent it to her because I understood that
and
she would never accept it
the next day.
That's the whole. That's how people are supposed to act with each other when you care about each other. But my thing is, I got up in the morning and saw somebody on the Breakfast Club, not Royce, somebody else on the Breakfast Club who owes me money. And I mean enough money for me to go and buy a car. That's how much money he owes me. And you're on here telling people that I'm doing bad deals while you owe me enough money for me to go and go get me a brand new whip right now. You know what I'm saying? So I forgot. Here's the thing. I forgot that he owed me that money.
Because
somebody had to bring it to my attention. Because it was years ago and I didn't do it because I felt like, yo, you gonna owe me some money. I did it because we was all rolling together. We was a team and I'm loyal and I want to make sure that my people is right if I can.
I feel you.
You feel me? And then you wake up in the morning and that person is on a Breakfast Club saying I do bad business, attacking my business reputation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't feel good.
I don't understand why he even got on there and even opened his mouth. But I do have a question.
But before you get to that question, for me, even if he thought that you had a bad business deal, the very fact that bothered me was that he said that him and Joe was working on a business deal. That's what I was talking about.
But Kino is the one that's
working on a deal behind you and Joel's back.
As if we're not good enough to know that there's a deal happening, and we're not sitting at the same table. We're not sitting at the same table, and we can't know what you're doing behind the scenes. No, you weren't working on a deal. You were talking to somebody who was interested in Slaughterhouse, and this guy is an executive in the Universal Music system, and I know all about it, even though they think I didn't know about it. And they had a dinner with the guy, and it went no further. It went no further than a dinner, and they were in the meatpacking district of New York having dinner with one dude from the Universal Music System, and this happened a couple years ago, and nothing happened as usual. But the dude called them. They didn't go and seek and say, "Hey, let's go put something together for Slaughterhouse." The guy reached out to them and said, "Hey, I see what Griselda is doing. You guys, man, y'all was really killing it. Maybe we should do something together. Let's have dinner and talk about it." It wasn't them having the showing in, you know what I mean, the initiative to go out there and make it happen. I went out there and made a deal happen. You know what I'm saying? And I went out there and considered everybody in the equation. Joe, he don't like the universal system because he's burned bridges in that system. So there's people with power who will try to block him. So I went to the Warner Brothers system where they can't even touch Joe. That's how considerate I was when trying to piece this deal together. You know what I mean? And now they're saying, "Oh, we had a deal that you didn't know about." Bro, if you can't return his text, Joe Budden won't give me a call. What make you think I want to do any deals with you?
Yeah. And you know what burned me? I'm going to ask you two things. I'm going to tell you what burned me is when Royce sat there and said that wasn't your role in the group to bring a deal. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Aren't you all?
Yeah, what does that mean? That wasn't my role to bring a deal to the group, but it was my role to come up with Total Slaughter, huh?
So what you saying? Joe is Beyonce in the group, and the rest of you all were just.
It's not my role to come up with a group. I don't play no role. Well, there was no leaders of Slaughterhouse. Nobody was the leader. And
exactly.
And they wanted to present it in a way, you know what I'm saying, from the song where, you know, he says he's the apparent head and Joe Budden is the leg because he runs shit with him. You feel me? I already peeped that when the song was getting recorded. And I said, "Oh, this is how they view this situation." You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing is, I know how to lead people and I know how to follow people. And if we are all going to be on a team together, then I'm going to play team ball. You feel me? I'm just going to play team ball. But they took that for granted because none of them have the experience in the music business that matches my resume. I have more major label record deals than anybody in the group. I have more contractual experiences with anybody in the group. I've been in the game longer than anybody in the group. So for them to think that I'm supposed to just take a back seat and allow them to maneuver after 10 years of doing nothing, now all of a sudden I got to sit in the back seat while you guys go bring this glorious deal. Could I even trust that the deal would be fair for me and Joell? Because basically you're saying, well, we all know there was times when Joe wanted the most money out of everybody because he was on Love and Hip Hop. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that don't equate to selling records and that don't equate to art in the booth. You know what I'm saying? But this was the attitude. So I talked to Joell and I told him, I said, all of this was meant to happen.
Yeah.
It was meant for me and you to come out and do albums together, tour together. And
you guys were doing albums already, like Hard. You guys came out with Hard. And that was a fire album, and I felt like it went under the radar because of the pandemic. But I have a question. I'd like for you to elaborate, because Watson and I both want to know this. Him and I discussed it heavily in the DM. We were wondering, and we're upset about this on the whole shuffling you, like when they tried to shuffle you. Elaborate on that if you can, to what extent you can elaborate, because I know you don't want to bring out a lot of stuff, but you said they was trying to shuffle you. You found out they was trying to shuffle you in the group.
Yeah, I found out some things that went on where they tried to give me the smallest slice of a pie that I didn't know. I didn't know what the pie was.
But they didn't know you had that Suge training in business, did they?
Yeah, they didn't understand that I could find out. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And you know, it was a very disrespectful thing
I
because
think so.
you know when if we're doing something and we're gonna split something 4 ways, you don't get together and try to shorten my take home without my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because we all got families, we all got people we take care of, and
Yeah.
that's just very disrespectful. Especially
Yep.
when I'm in the studio longer than everybody, and I'm in
Mm-hmm.
there rapping and I'm contributing, and I'm
And
you
flying
know
to Detroit back and forth while others
oh yeah,
weren't going.
I spent a lot of money trying to keep Slaughterhouse together and doing music, and you know flying to Detroit all the time. I mean, me and Royce got about 10 songs. It's just me and him on there because me going down there, flying, you know, hey man, let's get this Slaughterhouse thing together and things of that
Yeah.
nature. And at the end of the day, like I said, Royce is cool, you know, uh, but he's wrong about this. And nobody is pulling his coattail on his team saying, yo, listen up, brother.
They're
The way
not.
you're handling this, you look like you're condescending. You look like you have you're letting your ego speak for you too much.
It's
You
a little
look like
sad to
you
think
look
though.
like you're trying to sun people that I don't understand how listen, none of us are in not talent wise, but when it comes to the charts, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's Marshall Mathers and Sean Carter in this equation. You know what I'm saying? Um, but
Although
they kind of acting as if. I'm telling you that they're kind of
I
acting.
know,
And somebody told me
Yeah.
that at the studio
but
today.
I'm gonna
They
be
said,
honest. I feel
why they think they so much higher than you guys? Like why? They asked me that, you know, and I'm like, I
maybe
don't know.
because the Allegory got
Well,
nominated for a Grammy,
and because this is
and it
this
went. Ooh.
this was my theory
It,
because I'm from the South.
Okay,
So I'm from Texas, and you know how we've been portrayed in Texas and how Texas always has felt in the realm of hip hop.
mhm.
So when I saw the way Royce was moving, especially with Lupe, I started to feel some type of way
right,
because I was there with Pimp C when they were being sunned by the New York artist.
yeah,
So when I saw what was happening, I started to feel some type of way.
right,
And it's not personal because I still love Royce.
right,
You know, I'm still a Royce fan,
right,
but I am not biased. I also
I
see
am.
the way they were
I
treating
admit it.
you and Joell. And it made me feel some type of way because I also felt that way with Lupe and Mickey Factz, the way they did Mickey Factz in that live. I would have flew to Detroit and it would have been some furniture moving up in there.
yeah,
Because that's just me feeding off of my southern,
Yeah,
because
you
I
know,
and
I
guess what?
we
Not
West
to
Coast
not
went through that too.
not to cut you off, but you made me just think of something. Mickey Factz reached out to me, right? And he asked me to get involved with something that he was doing. Um, and this is after the rise and fall, after, you
mhm,
know, all of the whatever. And I told Mickey, I said, Mickey, I like what you're doing for the culture, but I can't do it because I would look crazy after how you know, you dropped the disc record on Royce. Even though me and Royce aren't seeing eye to eye,
On
I
some
would look
integrity stuff,
I would
right?
look crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
feel
going
you.
out here and teaming up with you. Now I got other people in my DMs right now that went at Royce and they're trying to get me to
Get you.
collab with them and do all this type
It
of stuff.
happens.
And I won't do it because that's not what I'm here for. I'm not
mhm.
here to be like, yo, all right, cool. Now he's the op. Let's get it.
But
You know what I'm saying?
You guys had 10 years together, and you and Royce spent a lot of time together. You going to Detroit. It's I kind of feel like the disrespect and the gall of these people to come at you, to even insinuate like, hey, you want to get at me? We're going against Royce. Even though you guys are at odds right now, it doesn't mean you never had a relationship. And then you got to look at integrity. Integrity kicks in. And if people know and have integrity, they wouldn't even ask you that. Because on your integrity,
they don't got, but you know how it goes. Like,
I know.
That's how it goes.
They tried.
They tried it, you know, and I'm not mad. And like I said, I do like what Mickey is doing for the culture with
I do too.
With the bars app and you know this class that he's teaching and all that.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. But you know, I can't be involved in that right now.
Oh, he was terrified you was gonna diss him. He pulled me in a live one night and he got me in there and I was like, damn, Mickey, I'm in my nightgown right now. He's like, I told him I'll be in there, but I'm going to be in the dark because I don't want nobody to see me. And he told me that people were mad at me for my YouTube comments because I was backing you up. But then he started talking about the whole rise and fall of Slaughterhouse. And then he said, oh my God, I was so terrified because I thought Crook was going to diss me because of Royce. He told me he was terrified.
Well, listen,
him because of Royce.
And Royce wanted me to go at.
Royce was mad because
he wanted me to go at Mickey. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Mickey didn't do shit to you.
He didn't do nothing to me. But what I was peeping was, you think you too big to go at Mickey, but you think that I should go at Mickey.
That's it. If he's too big, why is it okay
you too big to respond to Mickey Factz?
But you're okay.
You want me to go and do it.
And he was more afraid of you dissing him than Royce dissing him. I'm telling you, he was more afraid of you dissing him than Royce.
Right, but I mean...
Royce, the audacity to think that, I'm too big, but you're all right. You can go at Mickey. Yeah. In other words, I'm higher than you, Crook, so you handle my light work.
You know, and I'm trying to figure out how.
That ain't cool, man.
How are you higher than me? Because you got Grammy? Because you got a Grammy nomination?
Exactly.
Well, guess what? I worked with Pimp C, rest in peace. Now, which is the best, a Grammy nomination or working with Pimp?
How many high-level artists have you worked with? A lot. You got Cool G Rap on your resume.
Yeah.
You got
Snoop Dogg.
Yes, there you go. Come on.
I got Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. Black Thought, if you want to include the R.I.P. K-Slave, because you're on that right after you. Black Thought raps.
I got Ja Rule. I got Ashanti.
You got a lot.
I don't even remember half.
You got more big names.
I produced records on Tupac.
Yep, I know.
What are we talking about? Like,
you know what's so funny is if you were at that House of Blues when Death Row did that concert with Tupac, I probably ran into you and I was probably fucked up. I know I wasn't. I was probably cholad out. Hair feathered, dickies.
Yeah, I like that.
I was cholad out, bro. I probably saw you and didn't even because I was fucked up. But I was there.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not here to say that I have a better resume than Royce.
No, but I'm saying I'm here to say that him to say, well, I won't get at him, but you can.
Well, yeah, my brother.
That bothers me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think very highly of you. I think you are.
So I just want him to come down to Mars, like Andre said, you know?
Come back down to Earth.
I want him to come back down, and I want him to reflect on everything and see that we handled it with class. We told our story.
Did.
We lived in our truth. We didn't drop a hit 'em up. We didn't drop an ether. We didn't drop a no Vaseline.
Mm-hmm.
We told our truth the way we saw fit to tell it.
Wait, the way these fans act though, like you did drop no Vaseline.
Yeah, I
was like, this era is soft.
But you know what, Maria, they feel like I took the role of that bad guy and say, yeah, I broke down the group.
You did.
You know what I'm saying?
You did it with class.
But in reality, the group was over way before Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
I know,
you know
but you took that role with class and dignity, and you tried to talk about it, whereas Royce and Joe tried to talk at fans, not to fans. There's a difference. You and Joell did Twitter Space. You guys tried to talk with the fans to explain. They went on a social media and promotional run, just talking shit about your pants.
They was best friends. They was best friends, Maria, when we dropped it.
They?
And then I never seen them on live again afterwards.
Exactly. And now
you know what I'm
there's
saying?
a picture. Like
they was best friends. We made them best friends. And now that, you know, he's on his promo run, he has something to talk about because of Rise and Fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think what bothered me the most, having interacted with you a lot on Twitter, is you have always been
Glass House.
You have always been honest, and you have always been humble. I don't care what question I asked you or what question anybody has asked you. You have always been honest about it.
Yes. I appreciate that, because I want to be able to speak facts. You know, we all make mistakes.
I think what bothered me the most was the pretending that you were less than.
Right.
And I have been a fan of Royce before him and Eminem even fell out. That's how long I'm 51.
You go back.
I'm 50. So I've been a fan for a long time.
Right.
I wasn't a fan of M back then.
Before he was even Royce, the Royce that people know now.
Right.
I was a fan of Royce. And it bothered me so much to see the way that he treated, even if him and Joell fell out, even if him and Joell didn't see eye to eye, the way that he treated you bothered me a lot, because if one thing I have if I have found out about you, having been a new fan, because my first fan moment for you was Life of a Bandana.
And Nas would win, Marquis.
So
Nas would win.
Life of a Bandana was the first moment, and that is one of my favorite songs from you. It's on my playlist. It's one of the ones I follow.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that.
But for me and Royce, I've been a fan of Royce since I can even remember.
Yeah.
Even when he was drinking and was making some bad moves, I was still a fan of Royce.
Right. I get
it. Because I was a fan of Crook when he was drinking.
When he was talking, even when he was in those modes, I felt that at least he had integrity.
Right. See what I'm saying? But that right there is what I'm saying about the whole situation is, my brother, you're not looking right, because one, you know, Joe has made a lot of questionable moves while he was in Slaughterhouse, and I'm not going to air them all out, everything that he did, but Royce knows. So for Royce to still, you know, side with Joe on everything, even after knowing what we all know, that right there is like, it's making me wonder, like, what are you doing, bro? Were you trying to get in the podcast space, and you know Joe was gonna help you out? Like, what is this super loyalty about?
Exactly.
To somebody.
I thought the same thing though.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, Joe doing this thing with the podcast, and you know,
Joe's been quiet about you two.
Yeah, because we had that talk. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I respect Joe.
And I respect that too.
I respect Joe for that. And I wouldn't even have talked about it if they didn't go on the Breakfast Club and attack my business reputation. I wouldn't have said nothing.
Exactly.
I wasn't talking about it. You know what I'm saying? It was a done deal. We moved on. You know what I mean? But it's just something for people to learn, whoever's watching, you know, especially young artists, like I said on my live. If you're doing a group, you might need to make an agreement between the group.
Yeah.
You might need a contract between the group. If you guys don't fulfill these obligations, then the group dissolves, because you can't look. Joe Budden retired in real life.
A long time ago.
How many times does he need to tell you? He's gotten on his live, like, and people have asked him, yo, if Slaughterhouse rap, are you gonna rap? He's like, nah.
He said, I make more money podcasting than I did rapping. Why would I go back to rap?
Well, maybe because you love it. Maybe because you love hip hop.
He
you love
said
MCing.
he hated getting up in the morning and having to go in the booth. He hated having to rap. And and all of that. He hated it. He likes podcasting a lot.
I understand Joe. I understand how Joe has this certain bitterness towards hip hop, and I do. I
understand. Mouse was the shit back then. Like, he went to pump it up, and that's where he lost.
I understand, Joe. But what I hate is the twist, as if Crooked and Joell are less than, or they're being untruthful. Yeah. Especially when the only stories that have stayed consistent was Crooked and Joell's. And I'm not speaking as a member of COB. I'm not speaking as a diehard Crooked fan. I am speaking as somebody who has loved Royce and Joe throughout their rap careers. I'm speaking as that person who hates to see the inconsistencies of what they're saying, and disparaging Joe and Crooked as if they are lying or saying something false, when all of everything that is showing in our face has been consistent when it comes to YouTube, and totally inconsistent when it comes to them.
And that gotta suck as a big fan of those guys, to see them, you know, handle things in this nature. You know what I mean? That gotta suck. I feel that.
It would get.
This hip hop journey is crazy, guys, and you know, a lot goes on behind the scenes. I don't plan on bringing out information that's going to be super harmful to people's reputations. Yeah. I'm just hoping that they just really back off me, because, you know,
do the same.
You know, just back off me, and that's cool. And because I don't want to go down there. That's low vibration shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have to start really pointing out things and all that, and that's dirty laundry and all that.
You gotta waste.
And it's like, you can't always ignore everything, because, you know, we can't allow certain narratives to just live out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a business meeting tomorrow with 2 tech companies. I sit on the board of both tech companies, and we're trying to merge these companies together to collaborate with one another. And I'm a pivotal piece of the equation. And, you know, when somebody says I'm doing bad business, that you know, it trickles down into my real life. Exactly. People say, well, yo, I just saw Royce on the Breakfast Club saying, you know, you brought a bad deal to the table while I'm currently doing business. And, you know, that's the reason why I didn't put the pull-up out for me and Joe Budden, because I had my brother Dice film the whole thing. And because, you know, and that's the reason I didn't put it out, because, you know, there were some things said that would have been very harmful to him getting his show on Revolt. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to really just, you know, knock him down publicly while he was trying to achieve a deal with Puffy and Revolt, you know,
but
for
you
the
gotta
state
protect yourself too.
but I gotta protect myself too. So I'm just hoping that, I know Royce is going on Math Hoffa. I heard he's doing Joe Budden too, his podcast possibly. I'm just hoping that, it's not an instant replay of the Breakfast Club. It could be.
Yeah, they're gonna ask him. Well, maybe not Joe, but Matt's gonna ask him about it. Matt.
I know he is, but you got a choice to say, you know what?
And I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about that. Or you know what? I'm over that, or whatever, and or you could just spit your truth, and when you turn the camera on me, it's gonna be my turn to spit mine. And it's just like, yo.
I don't understand why they don't get that you came over and over and over and over trying to bring some kind of situation where that group could get either Glass House released or record some kind of material, and you said, okay, this is it. This is the last hurrah. Like, let's go or not. And you didn't get a response, which was pretty much telling you no to leave. So you rapped your way out. Like, you rapped on your way out. Like, fuck it.
It don't fit their narrative.
I came here to rap, and if you're not going to let me rap here, then on my exit, I'm going to rap. I'm going to say how I feel about it, and then I'm going to close that door. Why is that got to be so hard? And the other part of that nobody's acknowledging is there's certain people that I'm not going to mention that are in Royce's circle that are pulling negative energy towards him, that he's not even manifesting that, but he's having to deal with that because he's allowing that to be brought on. He should be coaching these people up like, hey, this isn't the energy I want in my life. I'm not trying to be all raw negative with people, but he's got people right next to him that are like ready for the smoke. They've been waiting for a moment to catch the smoke. And it's like, who's got time for that at this stage in life, and with all these other things going on in the world that are important? Like, you're just waiting for the next time for some drama to pop off. Like, fuck, are you not sick of seeing all the bullshit that happens to people left and right? And that doesn't financially benefit anybody. Everybody loses in that. Everybody loses in that.
Don't fit their narrative to be quiet about it. Negativity sells, and they're promoting right now. He's promoting they're doing a marketing run for the greatest hits. Negative shit sells more than positive. So it don't fit their narrative, and it's not going to get them views as much as if they were talking their shit and saying stupid shit that isn't true.
Yeah.
That's how it is nowadays. The algorithms go.
Royce knows better, though. Royce is better than that. That's the thing that fucks with me, man.
Apparently,
I think that's what bothered me the most, is because I was expecting more.
Yeah.
Because I've been following Slaughterhouse for a long time, and I just expected that 4 men who have called themselves brothers would actually be able to sort this out. I give Crook all the credit in the world because I've been watching Crook move for a minute. And as much as I love Royce, I didn't expect shit from Joe. I never expected Joe to do the right thing. It was never even on my radar that he was going to act anything other than...
That's not his MO, to do the right thing.
I wasn't expecting him to act no other way than like Joe Budden.
Right.
Selfish guy.
But with Royce, it broke my heart. Literally, because for him, I just expected that he would be able to maintain who he was, because he has always been the one to not get in the middle. Even if 2 people were fighting, he was able to maintain a relationship with both sides, even throughout the fight. So
he's going through a major transition though right now.
Even going through a major transition, I expect you to be who you are.
Takes time to get back to that.
That kind of expressed to me that maybe who he was portraying just was not exactly who he was.
I can't think like that, SP,
there was
because
some
he had
bitter.
intention. He had intention, and
If
it's like
it
a relapse, right?
if
Like a
it was
PTSD relapse.
if it was a relapse, then how do you relapse with so many people at one time?
Because it all happened at once. Like, it's even easier to do it if it's all coming at you at once. Like, all you're gonna do is revert. I don't know how to handle this situation. I don't have the tool set to handle
Well,
this situation
maybe
yet.
that is because at least that is acceptable to me. At least I can understand. I couldn't deal with the moment that I was in between the Mickey stuff and the Lupe stuff, and then the Slaughterhouse stuff. Maybe it was too much for me to overcome, and I reverted to pettiness.
Yeah, I mean,
That
I
I
think
can
all of
that
us
I
can
can
follow
take.
that.
That I can take, and at least it salvages my view of him just as a man.
Yeah, because if you're gonna get in the car with somebody that has proven himself to not be a solid individual, you're gonna sink with that ship.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. Maybe he looks at Joe as a little brother. Um, I don't know what it is, but I mean,
He sympathizes with him.
he
Sure.
sympathizes with him, but it's like, Marshall is your man.
Yeah.
And this guy is publicly trying to tear Eminem down in the culture. And at that point, I would have been like, yo, Joe, you gotta chill out, bro.
Yeah.
Because this is my guy over here. And he's, I'm loyal to my guy too. This is my guy.
There was no
And
need for him to say what he said either. Like, it wasn't necessary.
it was
right?
but see, the thing about it wasn't just for clickbait. It was a calculated move to throw a hand grenade at our Shady deal. He lashed out because he wanted us off Shady.
Yeah.
And he knew that if he dropped that bomb, there would be no way that Shady Records would want to move forward with Slaughterhouse.
But what about integrity, man? Like, I could never move like that. I don't even care if I got the shit end of a stick in a deal. I'd at least finish that deal. I signed on it. I said that I would do it. Like, you say you're going to do a job, go and do it. And Joe's notorious for not following through with his commitments.
Exactly.
Like, the pod's the only thing he's followed through with commitment-wise.
But he had total disregard for the other three members.
Yeah.
Because we were actively working to get Glasshouse out. When he said what he said, and when he said that and went on that rant, it was impossible to get Glasshouse out on Shady.
So what would have been the projected release window? Because I don't think nobody's ever really asked that. Like, if everything went smoothly, what would have been the time frame? Would it have been after Revival, pre-Revival? Like,
well, when did Revival drop?
2017.
Glasshouse should have been out way before then, but like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm just being negative towards Joe, but he was like on the phone like, yo, when we said we want to come together in the summer and finish Glasshouse the summer, I don't know, 2015, 2014, he'd be like, nah, I'm throwing pool parties all summer. I'm not going in the lab.
Well, Sean said, I actually can't believe you still have to talk about this shit. It's like dealing with jaded exes. Time for everyone to move on. Coincidentally, my favorite Slaughterhouse song.
Yeah, it is time for everybody to move on. But the problem is, if they're going to be out there, especially with Keno, they're going to be out there disrespecting
talking shit
and talking shit.
And I think he means more about them continuing.
Yeah, like, I mean,
not you per se.
But I get it. I mean, how many high roads can we take out here? I mean,
Exactly.
You know what
I've
I'm
been
saying?
telling you.
My horse is getting tired, man.
But
I've
wait,
been
how
taking
many
the horse
times
up the
have
high
I been
road a long
telling you
time.
this, Crook? I've been like, Crook, you need to talk your shit.
Yo, we've been taking a high. When after they did that podcast,
You got me
shit,
taking the high road now, and
man,
I'm like, God
it was
damn, Crook got me doing this.
it was very hard to pack the ego up. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's not ego though; it's about respect.
It's about respect, but at the same time, I had to check my intentions. What are my intentions? To prove to people that I don't take no shit.
I get it.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying? And
That's
it was
ego.
like,
That's
and I'm
not
like, I don't gotta try that. I don't want to do that. That's not the vibration I want to be in.
Exactly.
So
We on high vibrations.
I think for me it was
Low
more
vibrations.
it was more so not the fact that you don't take no shit. It's just I think it's just my Capricorn that says, "Oh, you ain't gonna lie on me, motherfucker." You
yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
That's my
that's
Aquarius
the part
too.
that was getting me because
Yeah,
when you see a lie and you know it's being presented because I watched you post this deal for almost a whole 6 to 8 months, and you were waiting on somebody to
Call. You mean
get
that
back
when he
with you.
posted about I'm
I
waiting on
remember
them to
that.
call me?
Yes,
I remember that.
and
He
so
did that for a month. Yeah,
to
And they
see
watched,
somebody
though.
say that
it's a long
didn't
time.
happen made me furious just because are you telling me as a human being I don't even care about what's going on with Crook and Joe, but are you telling me not to believe what I saw is what
Right.
pissed me off. I
right.
think that's what made me really mad is because I know what I saw and I saw everybody moving at the same time, and what you're saying and how you're moving is it's two different things.
Yeah, I
You know
mean,
this.
and
I gotta
not to
get my
harp on it,
donuts.
but
I'll be back.
you know, he just.
Okay.
I'm glad that he finally said, "Yo." I'm glad Joe got on that live and said, "You damn right I didn't call Crooked back." That because at first the narrative was
Yeah.
we were on the phone, and it was like, no, we weren't. And then he finally, as time started progressing, the truth started coming out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't even think that you can't think that you're such a beloved rapper that people not going to see holes in your story. Because if I had holes in my story, I already know it's going to come to light because it always does. So I just was being honest and being like, yo, this is what happened. And, you know, me and Joell, man, we got a great album. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's a whole different concept. And, you know, we're moving forward. You know what I'm saying? I know that some of these interviews are going to pull us back a little, but we had a conversation today, and we don't want to fail the test, you guys. If it's a test to see if we're going to stay on the light side or are we going to go to the dark side, we want to stay on the light side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's gonna hurt if you guys go that way, man.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt deep.
I think
I'll fuck with you no matter what, man. But I'm gonna tell you, I'll
Already.
feel pain.
But I think you could address it and be respectful too, like you did on Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse, if you have to. Is what I
just
mean.
think
But I think light side's good. I wish
think
I
for
could just hear you
me-
talking shit though.
I think for me personally, the rise and fall of Slaughterhouse was more than enough. I think you and Joell said your piece. You weren't disrespectful. And if they want to run under the gutter, there's nothing you can do about that unless you want to join them in the gutter.
right,
Which I don't think y'all are those type of
right,
men.
right.
So I think if it's a blatant lie and you address it, that's fine. But I don't think I don't think they deserve your bars. Just to be completely honest, they don't deserve your bars.
I don't think they're gonna respond to them anyway. So
yeah, so I just, hey,
it's ridiculous, and I don't want to participate in a bunch of ridiculousness.
yeah,
It just caught me off guard because I was like, oh.
yeah, me too.
But
It caught me off guard too
but
because I was looking forward to that interview because I'm such a fan of Royce,
right.
and it was kind of like a gut punch because I'm such a fan of Royce that it was like a gut punch to me.
And
So
Keynote's sitting over there like an uninvited guest chiming in.
I know. I think I need to tell you, Bash is very excited for that Twitter space tomorrow. So I do hope you could pull up for a little bit, even if you're busy.
Which
Because
What
space?
time?
At 6 p.m. tomorrow, our time.
Oh,
Okay.
Because
be
if
there.
he knows you came on here tonight and he knows I said I'm on this Twitter space with him co-hosting, he's going to get mad.
6 p.m.
He's a
6
good friend
p.m.
of mine.
y'all's time.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think we should probably
What is 8 p.m.
end on
Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern?
Oh, that'll
Could
be
I say
dope.
one more
we could
piece before we go?
talk some hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
think so.
you know what I mean?
Let me
I
say
mean,
one
like I
more
said,
piece.
on a
Get
high
more
note,
people. Yeah.
me and Joell, this album, the concept of it is really something that has never been done before. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
So
excited.
I
love that.
can't wait till you guys hear it. And
Is
we'll
Nino
have
Bless on the album?
young Nino. Nah, Nino not on the album, but
I fuck with Nino. That's
I fuck with
that's my
Nino
brother.
too. I mean,
That's
you know
my
what I'm
brother.
saying? It's not really any remnants of anything that was in the Slaughterhouse universe on the album. You know what I'm saying?
You guys are going in a different.
We're going in a whole different direction, and
Yeah, man.
it's really dope, man. And we're happy with the work, with the body of work, and we just can't wait to present it to everybody to see how they feel about it.
When's it dropping? You know?
I don't know. I gotta get on a label call tomorrow with the distribution company, me and Joell. So we're gonna have more information tomorrow on how we want to strategize everything, and when the release dates and all that kind of stuff. Because you gotta, when you're independent, you gotta roll out your album a little differently than majors.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, it's some dope stuff, and the visuals are gonna be super dope. And people are reaching out to us to do festivals and stuff.
Hey,
And
you need to tell us where.
you know what I'm saying? And it's an exciting time for me and Joell to be, in our 40s and still doing what we love and still having people offer us things and take this brand and this duo seriously. That's the main thing that we really wanted, was to people to know that, hey, this is not just some fly by night stuff. We're gonna really Long Beach and Brooklyn it all the way. You know what I'm
Quality
saying?
rap. It's quality hip hop.
I would like to know. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get this off, and then you could say what you want to go. I would, when you find out a date of the battle,
It's December,
ahead
right?
of time, I would love to know, because I need to put in vacation time with work so I could go, because I want to go.
And there's people across the world that's actually
SP
flying in to see that for that battle, and this is the first time we're all going to meet each other.
Sean,
And you are responsible for that.
Yes. So Sean, myself, Hells, SP. Well, Gracie is in LA, so all of us are going to meet up there. And
this is about to be classic.
That's what. Yeah.
I'm going back and forth of whether or not I can.
No pressure, Crook.
Somebody
No pressure.
screaming in your face, dude.
I hear you.
That's what I'm teeter-tottering back and forth on.
Hey, bro.
Hopefully you can make
I don't know if it's gonna be a big stage. I don't know what the venue looks like yet.
I need COB gear, so get the tracksuits out.
I don't know if I can fly.
I would love the RCs to be on stage with me if that's possible.
Listen,
if the venue permits.
I'm not sure if I can fly in from Saudi Arabia on short notice.
Hey man, well listen, brother.
December.
It's in December. You'll have more than 30 to 60 days notice. You know what I'm saying? But right now,
you don't even have to get a passport. You're a citizen.
Yeah, we just really focus.
I just need to get my financials correct.
That's right.
You know, I don't want to, you know, throw out dates and venues for the battle while we're trying to.
You're still trying to figure out a date for the album.
The album, you know what I mean? I just want to, you know, focus on the album. I don't want it to, you know, I don't want them things to compete with each other. You know what I mean? So,
you and Joell gonna tour?
I think so, but I think next year.
And can I ask that if you tour, instead of hitting like Houston and Dallas, y'all take into consideration that San Antonio also loves hip hop, and we in the mix too.
Yeah, like
and we don't get very much entertainment down there, and we'll show up.
Hey, well there we go then. You know what I'm saying? We trying to go everywhere we can. So, you know,
I'll drive to Phoenix if I have to.
And we'll have a lot of music to perform by then, so that'll be another good thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I just want to say before I leave, man, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, all the support, and you know what I mean. Just I appreciate y'all rocking with, you know, me and Joell rocking with me, and it's just dope. You feel me? So this is why we do. This is why I do this.
Right back at you, bro. Because your support for the culture and your tolerance for discussions, even with some people who might come out of pocket, is commendable. And I wish more people could be that mature about discussing this art form with such a wide array of audience, especially when you someone who is who has such a large brand, and you're just like opening the door, like no questions asked. Anybody can contribute as long as you keep it respectful. And that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I understand that those notifications can be a bit of a pain.
It's all good. I ain't tripping. You know,
Crook, I want to leave you with one thing tonight. Just a jewel, I guess, that you already know this jewel, but you know, when you're in the thick of it, sometimes it's hard to pick a jewel you don't want to look at, right? But me as a fan, every time I see this situation with the group pull up and friends pull up, I keep thinking and imagining in my mind, what does it look like when they're together again, they're homies again? How do we get there? I had that law of attraction thing going on. And what I'm focusing on is, yeah, it's disappointing to see what's going on in this moment, but I'm not getting lost in this moment. I'm looking at that moment, because I believe you guys' friendships, some of the friendships were authentic, real, and genuine. I believe it. I believe that. I believe you guys believe that. And I just keep imagining, like, what's it going to take to get there? And that's why I say the pain thing. Like, if you guys take that route, it's just like, man, that's going to make it harder to get to the authenticity of that human relationship that happened right there, that human bond that happened right there, you know?
And I definitely received that you know what I'm saying, what you're saying, I receive it. And I'm not interested in rapping against a brick wall, because they're not going to even respond anyway. So, you know, and I'm going to try to stay in my truth and keep my integrity intact, even if we never sit in a room together again.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So that's the best you can do, man.
Yeah, all good. I'm about to be out.
I want to say, just thank you for coming on, just hopping in and dropping knowledge on us. I want to also thank you for actually being who you are, because if you weren't as steady as you are, I think I would have lost my shit with this whole thing because of how I'm just being honest, because of how I feel about Royce.
Right.
And because you have been so steady, it kept me steady, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have stopped fucking with rap if it wasn't for you, man. I would have stopped fucking with it entirely.
Hey, man.
Like, you brought me back to this culture. I'll just put it that way. Me being able to see you be a real, genuine person brought me back to this culture.
That's beautiful.
Because I walked away from it, man.
I'm not know how I feel about
bullshit,
you.
know.
Crook. I love you, Crook.
I've never spoken. I've never spoken to you. I've never spoken to you like one-on-one like this before. But let me say this: the fact, like, I'm gonna date you back to when you was up in Sway in the morning and Keith Murray walked in.
Oh shit!
The appreciation you showed Keith Murray in that interview just let me know what type of character I'm dealing with here, and I've always respected that, and I know that it's something that you'll carry with you, even when you do, whether you do new shit or revisit some old like material, whether you're a fan of or whether it's something you did. And I always appreciate that you like hold that respect first and foremost. I've always respected that.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I had a great time talking to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? So we getting on that label call tomorrow, and we about to find out some things, and we about to announce some stuff next week. So you know what I mean? Stay tuned.
Let's go.
Good luck to you and peace.
Yes, everybody, throw out y'all socials right quick.
You know, we always wish you the best, and we always wish you nothing but peace and
health.
As I always say, today is just a day. You know, tomorrow will be tomorrow. All you have is this moment right here, and in this moment, we are at peace.
Yes, we are, and I'm very grateful for that. Peace and blessings. Everybody be good. Have a good one.
Peace, mercy, and blessings.